for the Biafra exit, the following date has been declared ghost town in Biafra land. To make sure we affect no election and no electoral activity in Biafra land will be allowed on the following date. The 9th of December 2022, Biafra land will sit at home. On the 10th of December 2022, Biafra will be under lock and key. On the 11th of December 2022, Biafra land will be locked down. On the 12th of December 2022, Biafra land will be under lock and key. After that, we are going to go to market on the 13th. And on the 14th of December, Biafra land will be under lock and key. Do not blame anybody in case Nigeria state happens to you. Do not blame anybody in case anything happened to you, because the Nigeria state will not stop at nothing. The way I've shown you the picture of the way they are killing Biafra people, and for the past 1.5 years, we have been preparing you to this day that we have entered now. For the past 1 year, we have prepared you for what is to come. And this is going to be a litmus test. Every market in Biafra land, if you want to be free, if you want to have a better country where Fulani will not kill you, if you want to have a better country where the military will not come to your villages,
I believe that the reason God created man was for management. I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really?
I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Eligwe, heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes, not behind you. You will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
When the time comes,
it's okay.
What stupid country is this? So when is this you try somebody's secret? When you like, you try a secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, you try in private. They are killing my people. They are killing my people. They are killing IPOBs. They are killing my people. After killing my people, you tell me what to tell in secret? The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he's mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret trial. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
Do you know the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.
Compliments to you, Biafrans, lovers of freedom. Welcome everyone to today's broadcast, weekend broadcast. I want to say I'm sorry for coming late today. At least we are here at 5 p.m. Biafra time. You know, I told you that we have 2 times. If we don't come 1 p.m., then the next time is going to be, 5 p.m. in the evening, Biafra Oduduwa time. I had lots of activities today that actually held me back, that I had to, sort out so that I can be able to make it for this evening. Thank you all for joining. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and this is NUGGET Conference on Biafra Global Network. I want to welcome you and everyone who loves freedom, every Biafran, people of Biafra, people of Oduduwa, people of all the nations and tribes stuck and held down in the contraption called Nigeria. I want to welcome you all from all the nations of the world, wherever you're watching from all platforms where you're watching from. I say compliments of the weekend to you. It's great. It's a great privilege to have you here. And anytime I'm not here when I'm supposed to be here, I feel like something is missing somewhere. I have to just come to talk to my people, because that is my responsibility that Chukwokike has assigned me to. One of the responsibilities Chukwokike has assigned me in this movement of Biafra, and to do. And I thank God for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has provided a platform for us all, for all the nations to actually seek for their freedom, opening everyone's eyes to the fact and the content of freedom, so that we can understand the difference between freedom and, of course, being enslaved. I want to thank Mazi Nnamdi, who has kept the faith and has been used by Chukwu to actually enforce this the lifting of the dragon flag in a new dimension, and also under the auspices of the autopilot mood that we are in. And my God, within 1 year, he has been able to actually push us and bring us to the place where we now know and are sure that we have the right people going on track, and then also we have the right time, and where we have the countdown, as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said. And today is 92 days more to our freedom. I want to appreciate you all because of the counting, and for congratulations, you are part of those who actually are experiencing the countdown. And of course, we are certain that we're going home. Nothing can stop it. When we started, I played the announcement of Mazi Nnamdi, which he said talked about the sit at home. The sit at home begins. But before I go into that, I want to first go into the messages of our people. Of course, I'll always acknowledge our messages. So, Ogolo Josh D, thank you. You're the first person to actually send a message today. And my regards from Opobo Kingdom, Biafra land, more fire. Thank you so much, my brother. Opobo Kingdom. Your names also go along that line. That's Opobo. Is it Opobo or Opobo? Opobo. I think it's Opobo, right? Or they call it Opobo. Which one is? Do you pronounce it? Do you pronounce the K to it, or you just have to just do the, you just have to do only the P, Opobo or Opobo. In Yoruba you add K to it, Opobo, but maybe in your language it might be Opobo. So Jajao for Opobo. We know all of those details. So thank you so much for being the first person to actually send a message. Good afternoon, Brother Kelechi. You started quite late today. I hope all is well. Yes, so Mrs. Adesanya and everything is well, fine. I was just held, by some things I needed to do and some activities that held me back. So that is why I'm coming late today. Of course, when I don't come by 1 p.m., of course, I'll be here by 5 p.m. Ma Gloria Matthias, good morning to you all lovers of freedom. Thank you, Ma. Good to have you. You're always sending a message whenever you're here. And also, of course, my brother Uche is here. Uche Chineke. Thank you, my brother, for joining. Uche Chineke, good to have you. Good evening, Mazi B and BGN. All hail Biafra, no retreat, no surrender. Yes, thank you so much for sending your greetings to BGN, Biafra Global Network, and of course, for all the people that are here today. Yes, so I have started wondering out whether everything was okay. Everything is okay, honestly, everything is okay. Sometimes you are worked up and stressed up, and then you have to just not do things the way. If you look at me, you know that I'm worked up too. I'm looking very fagged out, So but we thank God anyways that all is well to the glory of God. And Chide's Arm says, good evening, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you for, and you too also, good evening to you. Thank you for being here, Chide's. Good to have you every time. Whenever you are here, you send messages. I want to thank every one of you who are watching, everyone of you watching out there who have not sent a message, but you are out there, of course, lovers of freedom from all tribes and tongues all over the nations of the world. Today is the NUGGET conference. We're supposed to have our guest, but we had something that came up that he needed to attend to. So he sent me a message that he will not be available, for today. So we're going to be having him on Monday because he's going to be joining forces with Prince Ezemianacho on the Mind Surgery Show to talk about money. Remember the Let's Talk About Money program that we are actually talking about. You know, definitely he's going to be there also with Prince Ezemianacho. Ogolo George says, yeah, it's Opobo, okay? Opobo town, yes. Opobo, yes. The land founded by King Jaja, yes. Mbanacho, yes. Who COR, okay? Of course, they founded by Jaja, yes. We know that story. Even if I've forgotten something, I've refreshed my mind on that story of Jaja. So it's pronounced Opobo, not Opobo, like the Yorubas would pronounce P. You know, when you have P-E-L-U, they say Pelu instead of Pelu. The average you will say Pelu, but in Yoruba you say Pelu. So the K comes with the P, you know, and like the R-B-D-A-F-E-G-B, you know. So E-E-K-L-M-I-O-O-P. That P is pronounced P in Yoruba. Ri-shi-ti-shi-ti-u-wi-yi. That's Yoruba alphabet. Didn't I try? At least I am trying. Somebody should compliment me, Jerry. You know, somebody should compliment me. I try. I pronounce the Yoruba alphabet. R-B-D-A-F-E-G-B. E-E-G-K-L-M-I-O-O-P-R-I-C-H-I-T-U-W-I-Y. Oh my God, somebody need to buy me champagne here, man. At least I try for that one. At least now, you can applaud me. Oh my God, yeah, you got it. It's the land of King Jaja. Yes, thank you so much, my brother. Land of King Jaja, good to have you. And let me read the other messages from Obioma. Obioma says, good day, my brother. We thank God for today. Happy to hear from you, bro. All must hail Biafra. He says, thank you so much, Obioma. Elekwachi, thank you. Elekwachi, Obioma, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All must hail Biafra. All must hail Biafra. Thank you so much. Take it easy, oh. Thank you so much. I'll take it easy, of course, definitely. I'll take it easy. I'll take it easy, definitely. You know. Good evening, Mazi. I hope you're doing well. Yes, definitely. I'm doing well. I'm looking tired, right? Don't mind me. Yes, I'm looking fagged out. Honestly, I know that. It's trying to tell on my mind, but I told myself, no, please. I tell myself that I must come live here. You know, I must come live this evening by fire, by force, and I won't allow anything to bug my mind. You know, I'll have to be the right frame of mind to do this. It's not easy to broadcast. You might not know, some of you may not know, because you have to be in the right frame of mind to actually, your mind process information and put things together. But God helping me, and the Lord is with me here. Christian Chineduibe, good evening, Mazi Kelechi. You're welcome. So thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christian. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christian. Mazi, good evening, Mazi Kelechi. You are welcome. Thank you so much, my brother, Christian Chinedu. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Is it? I'm fine. Oh, hi, Mazi. Good greetings. Thank you so much. And of course, as usual, you will always remind. That means you are following this up. You can't wait to go home, just like everyone of us can't wait to go back home. 92 days to go home. Journey has started. No going back, no election in Biafra land. Yes, so our journey have started and it has begun in earnest. You know, knowing all these things, Uma Gloria Matthias and Ejiofor is telling us to become, all in the name of Umichineke. Thunder will destroy Ejiofor. Of course, we you know, Ejiofor is that's why we are dealing with him. You know, because the fire of Biafra will not leave him. He's going to suffer the consequences of what he has done. The spirit of Biafra will punish him strongly on what he has done for the grievous things that he had done against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, even if the spirit of God and the spirit of Biafra is using it as a means of still working wonders for us. But yet we cannot deny the fact that he actually submitted himself to evil, to be used by evil, so that he would do the grievous things that he has done against the movement that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has created, which is ordained by Chukwokike. And so Ejiofor is actually a very, very, it's like when you talk about the Antichrist, you know, Antichrist, according to the Americans, and Antichrist, according to the British. You know, when you talk about that, then you are going to talk about the spirit of evil, the spirit of perdition, you know, And that spirit of evil, that evil spirit that comes from Satan, from the bottomless pit, gets into the person and then uses the person to carry out evil at the level that people cannot imagine. You know, when you look at the complexities and the full details of the things that Ejiofor has done, he has actually done so much damage, you know, and he has caused the death. In fact, from when Ejiofor began to work with the Nigeria agents and all of their people, every person who have died, the blood is on Ejiofor, directly or indirectly, because it is actions and inactions that have actually caused the death of our people. And so definitely he is going to pay, because the spirit of Biafra will not let him go free. His death has become a key factor, and definitely by this submission you made, my glory, it is actually what I want to talk about. This key factor must be treated. This key factor, the key factor of betrayal, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. Because when we look through when you look through the internet, whether the social media platforms, of course, whether Twitter, whether Facebook, whether all the platforms. Let me first talk about Josec household appliance. Josec household appliances. Share, like the broadcast, and press the notification bell. Thank you, Josec, for getting the people prompted with this information. Please share, circulate on all your social media platforms, and also subscribe to the channel. Press the notification button or bell so that you can receive notification when we come like this. What we do here is we preach the truth, we disseminate the truth, and we get people to be conversant with the truth and to run with the truth and on the truth, so that we can actually have the fullness of what we all crave to have in the next 92 days. We're getting to freedom. Now, basically, the key factor of betrayal is not just resident in Ejiofor. In the struggle and in the movement fight that we are in, we have seen it over time play in the lives of people. The one dangerous characteristic, of an average Biafran is the characteristic of trying to destroy something when they are not the ones actually running it. If you are not the one running it, then you want everything to go down. It's a basic evil. It's a fundamental evil. And it is something that, is designed by the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of envy, and the spirit of selfishness. That spirit that prompts you to always think about yourself, egocentric. You always think about, it has to run around you. You see yourself as superior, even if you are less than inferior. You see yourself, you picture yourself to be someone that should be reckoned with and which should be identified in everything. And people should just notify you or identify you, or actually pay homage to you, or actually recognize you in everything. In fact, if you are not recognized, you just feel insulted, and you just feel like things should not work. As much as I am here, if it's coming from you, then it shouldn't come from you. It can come from this other person that if I will get a favor from, or it should come from somebody else. Why should it be you? There are so many people that who think, of course, in this when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is just now that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is held, somewhere, temporarily held, anyways, as we know, because he's coming out very soon. It is now that he's temporarily held that we actually see that nobody is actually even talking like they hate him, unless somebody like a Masari, and some few people, But that's when he was around, when you come to social media, when he's broadcasting, you see so many people send a message: you are idiot, you are this, you are that, you are evil, you are this, you want to do this, you are this, you are that, abusing him. But now everybody who has been abusing him is somehow quiet, and now the abuse have been transferred, to the person carrying the spirit of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that's Mazi Samanepa. And the abuse have done it. Evermat, greetings, my people. Mazi Kelechi Ambrose, thank you, Evermat. Good to have you and have you. It's good to know that we also, those of us who actually would have expected that I come by 1 p.m. by here by 5 p.m. also together. You know, it's critical, you know, to understand that Ejiofor is fundamental. The spirit of Ejiofor, you know, we have Ejiofor as the fundamental chief betrayer, and then we have the spirit of Ejiofor. Just like the scripture talks about the spirit of Antichrist and talks about the Antichrist himself. The Antichrist himself is going to fight Israel, is going to fight the nation of Israel physically as a man, coming with that spirit from the devil and from Satan himself. He's going to come strongly, and he's going to fight until he fights Christ at Armageddon, which is Armageddon, and then he'll be defeated and completely run down. You know, the same way also the spirit of Antichrist is now moving around, even if the physical Antichrist is not yet here. Antichrist or Antichrist. Antichrist is you know, American. Antichrist is British. So the spirit of Antichrist is running, you know, and everywhere, you know, people doing evil things, fighting against the Christ. Even some Biafrans who will come and say Jesus is not, he's a myth, you know, he's a British myth and all of that. The spirit of Antichrist propels people to look beyond, you know, to look less on what God's word says, and actually submit themselves to learn about the program of God for humanity. Rather, they want to attack the messenger, you know, and thinking that because the British actually also came with the Bible, then it simply means that the Christ that is being preached is actually a farce, or the Christ that's being preached is actually a myth. And this has affected the way our people operate and behave and take the scripture, and also understand the program of God for humanity. So these are basic things. This is the spirit of Antichrist trying to make people not to actually accept the Christ as Lord and God. And so that's why people will come and fight the issue. When you talk about Jesus Christ, they say, no, he's not God. He's just somebody who just came and did his own thing. Oh, he doesn't even exist. It's actually a British concocted, you know, myth or concocted story to actually move us in a direction and program our minds towards a direction. But yet, the issue of Jesus Christ have been existent, have been before even the British nation ever came. You know, they've been there for a long time, even before the British nation. The issue of Jesus Christ, or the story of Jesus Christ, or the program of God that came through Christ, who became man, had been there from the time of the Roman Empire. So, you know, and going into the Grecian Empire too. So you cannot say that the British concocted that story, because the story had been there before they came, and then they utilized the story now to actually fight the people. So also the spirit of Ejiofor now, I'm relating that to the spirit of Ejiofor. Now we have the spirit of Ejiofor, you know, working in people, people betraying and all of that. But we have the main Ejiofor, who is actually the evil, you know, the evil epitomized. You know, the icon of evil, the application of evil. When you click on him, you see every detail of how it means to be evil. You know, that is how it is. Ejiofor is on the work that he was paid 5 million naira to do. He was paid more than that, my brother. He was paid more than that. Just said household appliances. He has been paid several times on different occasions to carry out different programs at particular time. He was paid 50 million by the courts, but that money is part of the money that he was paid for the betrayal work that he did against Mazin and Kanu and the killing of Gentle and other people. And so you understand that he is basically Edith. My second Edith is here. Okay, it's been a while. Not seeing you. Edith is here. But Edith, okay, it's been to see you. Good to have you anyways. Maybe sometimes you're here and you actually just looking at looking at the messages, you know, and all of that, you know. And sometimes most of us don't want to actually send messages, but it's good for us to send messages, because your message actually made me, things align and then bring up a narrative. The Joseph says Ejiofor is on the work that he was paid 50 million. Yes, you're correct. That's 50 million. The one the courts now approved, aside the ones he has been receiving and the other details that he has been receiving. So now that is what I want to talk about today. The key factor, this key factor must be treated. The key factor of the spirit of Ejiofor. You know, I see how most of our people actually carry out the work of this redemption, and I want us to know this, that if we are going to build a new nation, we must drop that spirit that comes from Ejiofor, that spirit of Ejiofor. You must see yourself as unique as much as you see somebody else as unique, so that when you see somebody else doing the work that they need to do for the mandate of Biafra, you don't begin to destroy the work because you think that it is not coming from you or from someone you like or you prefer that it comes from. For instance, you remember the story of the criminal at South Africa who said that instead of Mazi Simon Ekpa to bring Biafra, a very good evening, Mazi Kelechi. No, thank you so much, my sister. Good to have you here. Thank you so much. I am delighted to have you here. Good to see you. Thank you. Now, he said something. He said that if it will be Mazi Simon Ekpa that will bring Biafra, and let everything be destroyed. You see, this spirit is fundamental to the existence of our people. When our people begin to see themselves as not understanding who they are, they tend to misunderstand everything happening around them. Now, the first way to understand what happens to you, and what happens to you and others as a nation, for you to understand what is happening around you, is to first understand who you are. Because you will only see what is happening around you from the eyes of your understanding. And when the eyes of your understanding is blurred, is distorted, you are going to have a very limited understanding of what is happening around you. The reason why most people don't understand what the spirit of Biafra truly means or is, or what the freedom fight truly means, is because they have a distorted understanding of who they are. Because the knowledge of who you are is the ability to see through the world and see it in the right sense of purpose. And so that is why when we talk about Biafra, most people may not understand basically what Biafra is about in the context of freedom, because they see Biafra as a distorting program to the norm. Now, let me explain this. The norm here is they are born into a place called the contraption that is called Nigeria, and based on the fact that they are born into that kind of contraption, they begin to see it as unusual to begin to seek for something else and different from what has beclouded their minds. Their minds have been beclouded by the notion of what Nigeria represents. Their mind is beclouded by the notion of what Nigeria is. And they actually see Nigeria as the only surviving feature for their lives. Based on that, they have restricted their capability, their ability, and their purpose, and they have misplaced it with a particular doctrine coming from a program of British concoction. And this has dazed their minds, because when you take concoction, it has a way of dealing with you and taking you off from your regular or your normal way of reasoning and all of that. Concoctions, especially when they are poisonous or when they are actually strong, actually make you lose your mind. And so the concoction from the British structural design using the Fulanis have dazed most of our people that they no more reason well. Now they see themselves in the light of what Britain has designed. And it becomes a critical problem, because the design of Britain is a concocted program that is actually meant to mislead, to misdirect, and to cause malfunctioning of the people who actually have a purpose and ordained for a particular purpose. And so the reason why most people see less, in their sensual, and perceptive and realm, is that they have been distorted in their mind process, and it has affected the way they actually can see. Because Britain has been able to use the Fulanese in every program of the Nigeria contraction, the politicians, and all of those designs to actually put them in a place where they see the abnormal as the norm. The abnormal becomes the norm, and the norm becomes a program that should sustain the abnormal. And so when you introduce an extraordinary means that looks something different from what is the norm, which is the program of an abnormal system, they tend to think that you are actually destroying status quo, and status quo should be protected based on the level of their sight and the level in which they see and how much they can see. And so we have so many young people today, and that's why the educational system and the programming has been so battered in a way to sustain such kind of narrative. when you go to the schools, the teaching and the programming, the way the teachers handle the students, the way that the educational system comes with the concocted educational program affects the way it's designed to make sure it affects them in a way that they have to have a mindset towards holding on to frivolities, and like Nigeria, holding on to the abnormal and using using the abnormal to represent the norm for themselves and for their lives, and of course, let me look at what people are saying. When I cut off like this, I have to. Okay, let me just go to the message so that I can, because I see the messages coming in. Nigeria, from Prince SM has sent a message. Our guest who is going to be here on Monday. You're going to hear more on this. The name Nigeria can't stand in humanity. Even a dog is named by its own, let alone one's biological child, and not to a location linked to one's biological lineage and ancestral heritage. The name Nigeria is evil, infested, and driven. Hence, it must condemn. I can read further because it is cut off here, so you can read it wherever you are. This is a very, very strong point here that we must understand, and very, very fundamental too. Now I'm going to go back to the narrative, and let me just read our messages. Deo, Kelechi, and all Biafrans, it's like I came late. Yes, you came late anyways, but at least you can watch the other aspect of it later, at least to the point of the 35 minutes or so. Okolo Michael, thank you. Good to have you again here, and good to have you. Josh says, thank you, sir. Your analogy are from almost all points of views that keep on blinding some people. Yes, that is what I want to talk on today. That's why this key factor must be treated, and it is a key factor because there's this distortion. Good evening, Margaret Chokwe, good to have you, and of course, as usual, you and Kike and the Bridge, you will always remind us of the number of days, 92 days to Biafra. Thank you so much for the message. And Ebere Chukwu says, still let me read it quickly if I continue on that narrative. Their reasoning has been distorted by the British concoction. So does that make them greedy and power conscious? And their reason has been distorted by the British concoction. So does that make them greedy and power conscious? Well, the content of that concoction actually has the feature of greed, desperation, and of course, and all of these, the fact that they have actually been programmed by a mindset, that reduces them to think and to understand self. When there is a less understanding, when the knowledge of self is actually not in the right perspective, at that point in time, you have been dazed by a concoction of a program at a particular time, whether it be its religion, whether you go the places where you go for worship, your religious places, the ministries you go, a particular design, or from your parents or the family you come from, or from whatever. But the critical thing here is that both the religious process and the family and design and all of these, when they don't have a self-understanding of what they represent, and if your parents and the people that you live with, or your guardians and all of your guidance and all of that, don't understand the fullness of what they are, and they have been, that mindset have been distorted and have been affected by the fact of what is around them, you discover that it is passed on to the children. Now, most of those people who survived in the Biafra war were defeated in their mindset because they went through hell, they went through high waters, they went through all the brutality and so many of this stuff. And most of them resolved that this is not meant to be. In fact, when they think about the pain, when they think about the restrictions, when they think about the hunger, when they think about the blockade, everything that they went through, the pestilence, let me call it also epidemic, the epidemic, the kind of killings, the kind of death that they experience through diseases and all of that, they tend to become, they tend to become defeated. The mindset they become defeated, and because most of them don't have that value of mental toughness and strength, they were not trained in that light. Remember, they have had forefathers coming from the side of slavery, and when Britain came into the system and they started until Nigeria became in Nigeria in 1914. Their parents have been coming through this program of British, restriction and holding them down in that light. So that mindset has been in the fathers, passing on to the children and passing on to the children until they came to the point of independence. Even at the point of independence, they thought, and most of them now were taken abroad to actually receive some kind of mental and programming again that will suit the British system and structure, and that will suit the British program for power sharing or power design in that contraption that is designed in Nigeria. So that has affected the way they operate. So even those ones who went to school abroad and came back still had this mindset that they have to still, they have to still be subject to and to pay their obeisance to the construct of the British design. That is the Nigeria contraption. And so with that mindset, people like Nnamdi Azikiwe were having this distorted way of reasoning, and knowing that his father took him from that point where they were slaves. And so he now was trained by the slave masters, and coming from the schooling of the slave masters and from the realm of their covering, he had to do the things that he did to make sure that his people remain under slavery and servitude. And so the mindset now, in that regard, in that sense, do you know what happens? The slave masters make you feel that you have power when you are under them, and they make you feel threatened if you lose, if you fail to be under them, or you lose the privilege of being under them. You're going to lose power. You're going to lose everything. So, by your question, the reason is distorted by the British concoction, because at that point of time, they have been in that concoction. They are told that power is only evident and available to them when they are under the auspices of the British program, and they feel that if they lose it, then they are going to lose everything, and their lives will be in danger, and of course, they will be threatened by truth, because under the auspices of truth, they would have to face justice. They would have to face, especially justice. And of course, when they face justice, based on the fact that the concoction has made them, has programmed them, and has stirred up in them, or stirred up what is in them, and using it and expressing it through the concept of desire for power and all of this stuff, and stealing and thieving and all of that, they now would have to subject themselves to the programming of the British, because it secures them better. That is why you find out that most of these politicians do not want freedom. When freedom comes, they are going to be in trouble. That's what happens. When freedom comes, they are going to be in trouble. They will be tested by truth, justice. And in that regard, on that auspices, they know that they are going to face the law big time. So, because they have been criminally designed by the concoction of the British program, they will continually begin to misbehave, in the sense that they keep designing plans that will fight the truth. That is why you'll see that Ejiofor became a very good instrument in their hands. And when, of course, because of his criminal mindset, I want to believe that Ejiofor was actually introduced to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He already knew what he has been told what he should be, his program should be, before he joined Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has been told that. So they actually introduced him to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the fact that they have trained him, they have gone into agreement with him to become an eye to penetrate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So as a legal person, he comes into Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and try to rob and make himself the best in his heart, going to the case initially, and using him as a means of trying to debate a political solution, initially in 2015, which of course we know that was not, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu declined. Ejiofor was basically sent to actually appeal to his heart to accept those facts. So along the line, Ejiofor was bringing it cunningly and deviously, be bringing that to his mind. And so in the long run, of course, he has been there consistently, making money and all of that. And then they have been planning on what to do until they mature a program of killing him, which was destroyed by Chukwu. They wanted to kill him. And that program was destroyed. distorted and destroyed my children. So you understand the concept what I went on from. So their reasoning has been programmed by the British concoction. And you know what the concoction does to you? It dazes you. You become a stooge to the concoction. So that's greed that is naturally in humans, because there's this particular greed that is naturally, even when a child is born, even in the animals, even instinctively, this greed is there. So, but anyway, when we begin to mature in sense, our sensual abilities, we begin to now work on it to see that we actually consider other people's interest in all we do. You understand it? That greed, because of the program they are receiving, because of that concoction, that influence of the concoction, that greed that is inside, that is resident within, does not have any fertile ground to grow in truth. So in truth, it becomes very useful, because everything that is contrary, negative, when it meets with truth, it exudes that energy that is contrary for positiveness. But when that energy meets with lies, it becomes so devious and very evil, and it produces the fruits of evil. So because that evil greed that is in a geophone, meeting with the concept and the program of British lies and evil, and also being passed on by the Ohanezes and the politicians, they now entered into him and propelled that greed and that evil and that desire for self-aggrandizement and self-upliftment. It's now propelled it, and it started walking towards that line. That was why he kept doing things foolishly, doing the things thinking that he's going to go away with them, until it got to the climax when the spirit of Biafra is going to destroy him. Let me read the further messages, because today is an interaction day. I came late, but I will watch it from the beginning. Please do not get to the job where watch from the beginning so I can get other facts. Dollar Fox, you are here. I see your message. Now we've talked about so many things here, but I'm going to go basically into this particular teaching, this key factor that must be treated. I'm going to talk more on it, the spirit of Biafra. The spirit of Ejiofor and the Ejiofor. It's just like when you talk about the spirit of Antichrist and Antichrist, or the spirit of Antichrist and Antichrist himself. So we have the spirit of Ejiofor, and then we have Ejiofor. These are two kinds of things. So we are going to bring out the similarities between the spirit of Ejiofor and Ejiofor himself, and then we're going to relate the spirit of Ejiofor on the lives of other people and in relation to what is happening right now in our midst. And the truth about it is that even some of us too, who are believing in truth, sometimes we fall victim, and somehow because of this natural self-greed and all of that, this evil in us, we want to be the one to shine. There's nobody here. This program of Biafra is not for anybody to shine. The leader here, interim leader, is Mazi Samaneba. I will never want to fight to take his place. He's been anointed for it. He's been ordained for it. Nobody should be thinking of taking his place, because it's an ordination. All you can do is to support him, and support him well. And so what I'm doing right now is to support him, because as I support him, I'm supporting Mazi Nnamdi, and I'm supporting the nation of Biafra and everybody member of Biafra. So no matter how gifted and how talented I think I am, as much as the oil is not to pour on me to do the work, all I need to do is to support. That is the anointing that I carry. Because the anointing, when you find yourself at a particular time doing a particular work, you're anointed to actually do that in the broad spectrum purpose that have been designed. The broad spectrum purpose is universal, it's of the spirit of Biafra. The instrument to actually fulfill or carry out this mandate of broad purpose, fulfillment is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now translates it or transfers it into Mazi Samaneba as an interim leader until he's back. And then, which means that he has anointed him and is carrying the spirit of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is why everything he does now goes in line with what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says, because the spirit of Biafra from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is on him. So no matter how gifted and talented I am now, I would work under them. That is how the spirit works. When you find yourself fighting the order, then you are in the spirit of Ejiofor. When you find yourself fighting the order, every little thing you'd say, who is he? Please, when you begin to talk against him, because you think that he has done what he has done does not go with what you want or what you desire, what you think it should be. You begin to fight, or when you find yourself, when you're told to do some stuff, you begin to fight. As long as it is not from you, the idea is not coming from you, you have to fight it. That is the spirit of a job. We're going to discuss all of those details further. Brother Fox, he said, good evening, Mazi. Good evening, Umuchineke, sorry, Biafra. Good to have you, my brother. Good to have you here. Brother Fox, Azubike Felix says, good evening from here. Good job. You are doing yourself. You are doing for yourself and the people of Biafra. Chuki Okike Goziegi, he said, thank you so much, my brother. Azubike Felix, thank you so much. Thank you. Rebecca Sharon, it's been a while. Good to have you again, Rebecca Sharon. Love from here too. Love from here too to you also, Rebecca. And Okolo Michael, Mazi Kelechi, thank you so much for the good job, what you are doing for Biafrans. We love you so much. Thank you so much, Michael. Okolo, I love you too, and I love every one of you. That's why I submit myself to this one. Good evening, my dear, lovely brother, Mazi Kelechi, and all autopiloted IPV worldwide, watching from Hamburg, Germany. All hail Biafra nation with great love. Thank you so much, BMO. I'm trying to see what I can decode what BMO is. No, don't mind me. I good to have you. Basically, Ejiofor is a stooge, Nigeria and British concoction. Yes, he is an instrument. And very true. Thank you for that submission. He's an instrument of that concoction. Exactly. Thank you so much, Margaret Ejiofor. Now, the spirit of Ejiofor is critically, the sound, the reflection of the sun from the window. The sun is reflecting on a particular, window frame that is colored, so it's now shining on me. So it's making me have double color. That's not my color. Nothing has happened to me, please. So nobody should. Maybe I should put the curtain down, so that it will be. Freedom is not easy to get. They have always always traitors in all revolutions. Yes, and the beauty of it all is that the traitors make everything good and sweet. Now let me please bring down this thing so that I can actually bring down the curtain. So that the sun will not get me. Sorry everyone. I have to bring down the curtain. So that it's becoming dark and blood. That was why I raised the curtain, because the sun and the bulb is behind me. So it's like I actually took a wrong position because it's evening. I'm supposed to turn the other way around so that I can have a good view. But sorry, we're going to be rounding up soon so that we don't get a distorted program here. Now, of course, freedom is not easy to get. They have always been indefinite. There's always traitors in all revolution. They are always there. Yes, nothing will happen to me. Margaret true talk, nothing. Joseph, how are you doing today, bro? Thank you so much, Joseph. I'm doing fine, and I know you're doing fine too. Thank you. Margaret, your voice said nothing will happen to my big bro. Thank you so much, Margaret. Nothing will happen to me. He said nothing will happen to me. He say to that. Madka, Amechi. This Madka, anytime I see it, I always look at it. Do the five, Madka. Which five are we doing? All right, we do the 5. Okay, I like that. Maybe it's a definition of an expression that has to do with the high five or something. So now the spirit of Ejiofor. Most of us might be talking about Ejiofor now, but I want you to observe what you are doing for Biafra, because I want to use this as a means of talking to us. Now I want you to look at what you are doing for Biafra. And I want you to look at your work and what we're doing right now. Are you envying somebody doing their work? Are you fighting somebody doing their work? Are you struggling for position? Are you looking for personal aggrandizement, or are you looking for personal gains? Or are you actually thinking that because it is not you that is told to do this, you are going to bring everything down? I want you to think, because this is very critical. As much as we always talk about Ejiofor has been dealt with, and the spirit of Biafra will continue to deal with him. His spirit is evil, but that spirit is on some people in what we are doing today. That spirit is on some people in what we're doing today. Some people are fighting some people who are working. Some people are just thinking that, why am I not the one recognized? But you must understand that that spirit is evil. You might not be directly against the movement and the fight for freedom. You know, you might not be against Mazi Simon Ekpa and Mazi Namkan, but your actions and behavior might be giving us clue to recognizing the features of the spirit of Ejiofor in you. And that spirit is very dangerous. It's just like, you know, we had some Israelites who during the time God was saying they're going to get into the promised land. You know, some of them murmured, but not because they don't want freedom. They murmured and they couldn't enter into freedom. Don't let yourself become dangerous, put yourself in a dangerous situation where you will become vulnerable to destruction. I'm going to play a particular video that will give you the meaning of what you need to you fight against, because you should understand that this war is against you and your success. So when you hear this kind of things, you don't need to think about, the most important thing is for you to get your freedom. Are you doing what you are doing for praises? That is what I'm saying. Tina Martin says, why are you doing what you are doing? Why are you doing what you are doing? Are you doing it because you want to, are you in that group where you are working for Biafra movement, or in that WhatsApp group where you belong? Are you doing it because you actually want to be recognized? If you are not recognized, you feel like they're not doing it well. Because I have seen this everywhere. People fighting everywhere, in groups everywhere. People feeling they want to be recognized. They want to be in control. When they give order, you must obey the order. For God's sake, we have only one central point of order, and that is from the mouth of Mazi Simon Ekpa, whose orders are always in conformity with the mandate, because he takes orders from the heart of Mazi Namkan. And those orders are always right. That's the truth. I tell you, for instance, the order of the sit at home on the 9th, that is next week Friday, 10th, 11th, 12th, and then 13th, we take a break, and 14th. These are orders that you don't need to fight. Who is he? Why is he always every time he's the one fixing it? For God's sake, don't get yourself to the point where you will be destroyed. I'm talking to those of us who like fighting for relevance. Are you doing what you are doing for praises? A very good question. When Ejiofor, the evil apprentice, is gone and gone forever. Hallelujah. Yes, BMO, he's gone. But that spirit of Ejiofor is critical, is what we want to address. Because most people, if you check the groups, most places where people are, you know, what people are doing, you discover that most of them are still exhibiting the spirit of Ejiofor. Just like we have the spirit of Antichrist and we have the Antichrist himself. Ejiofor is that evil epitomized, you know, personified, you know, and then we have the spirit of Ejiofor. You might be fighting Ejiofor, you might be against Ejiofor, but you are exhibiting the spirit of Ejiofor in what you do. When you are envious of other people doing great work for Biafra, you are fighting with the spirit of Ejiofor, but you will be crushed, because the spirit of Biafra will crush you. When you are wanting to be recognized, and when you are not recognized, you feel angry, and you feel you want to be the one that everybody will be hailing. If you give your opinion and choice, then and they don't take it, then something must happen. That means they are against everything. They must take your decision, they must take your choice, they must take your idea, they must work with it. When somebody issues in a group, somebody says something, or you are working against the group by fighting your partners because you think that you think they have more talent or more gifts or more something to offer, and you begin to fight anyhow to resist them in all ways, you are working with the spirit of Ejiofor. That's the truth. Fighting for relevance and ending like Ejiofor. That's it. When you fight for relevance, you want to be relevant. Let your work speak for you. No need to fight for position. No need to begin to fight those who are working. This is very serious in our midst. people want to be the one. If he's not, if the order, if he's the one giving order, I will not take it. This one is always trying to do as if he too know. He's trying to be more intelligent. He's trying to prove that he knows everything. All this kind of spirit, all these kind of actions are the spirit of Ejiofor. I'm telling you, because Ejiofor has become the central focus now, because he is actually the fullness of betrayal in the first thing. Most e-frogs, I call them e-frogs, Tina Martinses. Most e-frogs starts like angry when Onyendu recognize. That is what we're saying. This is that spirit of Ejiofor. They begin to fight when somebody is recognized, when somebody is told, oh, wow, when somebody is congratulated and say, wow, this person is doing great. That is it. He said, now everything must go down, because why am I not the one they said I'm doing great? Why am I not the one that, why would he say that this other person is doing great? What about me? Oh my God. This is this key factor. This key factor is fundamental. Most e-rats, e-frogs, I call them, being angry when Onyendu recognize someone, but that is it. This key factor, spirit of Ejiofor, that's it. It's a very serious matter. You know, why I'm saying it's like, but it's a very serious matter. The spirit of Ejiofor. The spirit of Ejiofor. On one of these days, aside today, I'm going to title one of the next week. I'm going to title the program for Thursday. You know, spirit of Ejiofor. You know, so that I can speak more in this light. I'm just trying to do an introduction into this today. The so-called Ejiofor used Mazinamkan to achieve his career. That is what he did. He now has shown himself all over everywhere. He wants to be everywhere. Look at him. A showbiz lawyer. I don't know whether he's even a lawyer. Ugweze Amaka. Good evening, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you so much, Ugweze. Thank you. Good evening from here. You know, we have also the so-called Ejiofor used Mazinamkan to achieve Edith Ogie. Thank you, Edith. That's the truth. That's the truth. So now I'm going to play a particular video, because I'm going to end it with this, because I'm just making an introduction of this particular talk, the spirit of Ejiofor. We're going to talk about that more in subsequent programs, so that our people can understand. Just watch this video so that you can know what we are facing, and that what we are facing is an ideology of a religious contraption designed to favor the Fulanese, which the British instituted to destroy every one of us. Why would you neglect the facts and begin to fight those who are working hard to do what they have to do? Why would you neglect the facts of what we are facing to begin to fight those that you think are doing more than you, begin to feel threatened by somebody else's input into the whole thing? That's the problem we have. Now watch this.
Fact, my brother, you will pity for them. In every attack, I get information 2-3 weeks before it happens. And immediately I get that, I try to alert the security personnel. To a point in time, I was blamed that I'm the one fueling the crisis or the attack. How do I know it? Sometimes they insisted I must tell them the name of my informant and where he's coming from. I said no. And even the connivance between them and the government, they tell me. So when you put the message across, the government doesn't take it serious. And most especially this administration, the governor's aides doesn't even pick calls of anybody. Even yesterday night, I tried calling the governor on the attack going on Doroa. He didn't pick my call. So the missed call is there. He will not reply. Sometimes his PA will give you a message, noted, and it is gone. Even at the heat of the crisis. So you call the STF, their spokesman will tell you they are not aware, and it goes. And most especially, the attack is perpetrated by these military men. They aid them in carrying the attack. So we always give information before it happens. The CIB, They are everywhere and they bring information. But the most painful thing is that the people they are giving them this information are part of the attackers. And they will not even want the police commissioner to know about it. Neither. They will send it further for further investigation. They don't allow it to go. So they must remove those that are on those decks so that information will flow. So when we were on our way to go and recover these corpses, the corpses and the injured, the same STF commander, with the advice of Brigadier General M.A. Bello, told him that we should not pass through. And he was the one that called the defense headquarters, and the CDS told the STF commander, Major General Anthony, that he should not allow anybody to go and carry any corpse. He did. He delayed us for 2.5 hours. The police that was given to us to assist us with about 13 operational vehicles, that's Hilux, he couldn't allow us to pass. It's security versus security.
Now, yes, everybody, good to have you. Now, did you hear that? Now, you can imagine the content. Now, please, this video is about 11 minutes. I just played one side to you so that you can understand, what is there. And you can understand the gravity of the kind of setup, the kind of trouble that the people held under the name Nigeria are in. Now, there are so many things that this man talked about. Do you know what he said? One point he said is that before an attack happens, 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks or so before the attack comes, he receives the information. This man is from Plateau. From the Plateau, they decided carved out and called Plateau State to divide and rule. He said, when this information comes to him, he goes to the military or to the people, the relevant, military, department or whatever, to actually make his complaints and reports, to inform them. He said he calls the governor. The governor does not pick his call. Sometimes the PO will send the message, noted. That is all. Nobody responds. Nobody talks about it. Info coming about 3 weeks or so to the time of an attack. Nobody prepares anything. Nothing happens until the attack happens. Now, do you know one critical thing he said? That I think one critical thing he said, when they were told to go, some policemen were given to them to go and carry the bodies. After they have given information and people are not coming to stop and put on the system to stop the killing or to try to work on the intelligence that is provided about the attack that is coming in the next 3 weeks or so, they would still refuse them to go and carry the corpse of those ones who are killed. Now, by the time we play this video, maybe next time I'm going to play another part of this side of this video. You are going to hear things that will make you surprised. Some of you have listened to this video. I think I watched it about 2 months ago or so. But the content is so much, very, very critical. Just like when my life here was talking, everybody was taking it for granted. Everybody was taking my life here for granted. But then he was killed. Now this man also has spoken. Everybody seemed not. Now, can you imagine the kind of things happening in a so-called contraption? And yet, it is not an emergency. It is not an emergency. Whereas in a normal climate, in a normal society, even the killing of one person in a farmland is enough for a kind of emergency situation, especially when it is perceived that these killers are from foreign lands. This same government, the same Buhari before he died, told us that these killers are from Niger Republic and from other places, coming from outside. The same Shetima and other people told us that these people are coming from outside. And yet the same Shetima and all his cohorts and all his people and all their governors they are from that place are still saying that these people should be rehabilitated. The killers coming to kill our people, after killing them, they should be rehabilitated. That is the program they are carrying out. So they allow them to go further to kill. Now, if you go further in this message that I'm playing about this morning, you'll hear when he talked about the number of communities that have been displaced in Plateau State. Now, this is the critical situation facing us. And yet we still have people who choose to allow the spirit of Ejiofor make them fight the program, make them fight the movement for freedom, make them fight in their selfish and greedy nature what we represent. Once they are not the ones doing it, somebody else brings the idea, they want to fight it. Because they want to be the ones to be recognized that they are the ones who, so once the idea does not come from them or somebody has a better idea, they're looking for a way to bring that person down so that they will be the ones to be there. How do you think that, for God's sake, everybody have their role to play? You must not be somebody who brings ideas. You might not be gifted in that regard, but there are some other things you can do effectively. You must face what you can do effectively. The spirit of Ejiofor destroys. As much as that spirit of Ejiofor is critical to the destruction of those who allow it into them. The spirit of Ejiofor destroys, just like the spirit of Ejiofor destroys Ejiofor. Because the spirit of Chukwu uses the spirit of Ejiofor to destroy the spirit of Ejiofor, destroy Ejiofor himself. So Ejiofor is going down because of that spirit, evil spirit in him. And that evil spirit represents the spirit of Ejiofor in our time. And everyone must guard against it. Very critical. I have to talk in this regard. Because at this critical stage we are, we must focus. We must focus. You must look at the ball. You must look forward. Look at the mark. You must face the mark. Press towards the mark. The most important thing is that we all are gifted to carry out our works in different ways. The most important thing is that we all have a role to play. Nobody's role is superior, more superior than others. But in your own way, you are unique. That is why the man who was given 1 talent in one of the parables of Jesus was destroyed. When you look down on what you are given, because you are looking at what have been given to others, and you think that the one you have makes no sense, then you have actually designed your downfall. I want to let you know, if you allow the spirit of Ejiofor to get into you, to envy other people or fight other people because it is not coming from you, fight the ideas of other people because it's not coming from you, even if you are talking about Ejiofor, yet you are allowing the spirit of Ejiofor use you in another way to fight the movement in that seeming not very significant method. I want to tell you, no matter how you fight, it is significant. When you fight somebody who is doing something well and you feel that he should not be the one there, then you should know that you are actually positioned in the same way that Ejiofor is positioned, and definitely the destruction will come to you. I'm going to talk more on this spirit of Ejiofor. I'm going to take it to another level from this. I'm just making an intro talk on this. Let me go to our messages so that we can round off for today. Now, Idika Choro. Okay, Idika Choro, you guys are doing the needful. Thank you so much. We have to just do what we have to do because it's important. Those days when we're younger, and I'm not old anyways. Those days when we're younger, those days when we're still boys, in secondary school, you will be saying slangs like a man got to do what a man got to do. If a man doesn't do what he got to do, then nothing gets done. It's very funny. We were forcing ourselves to be men, even if we were boys. We want to be men by force. you know. And just like when we were little, you know, you want to have beards. They now told us that you know, to have beards and have hair, you know, you have to buy ogogoro. Once you rub ogogoro there, well, just rub ogogoro. Once you rub ogogoro, the beards is And then I was how old? I was just about let me just tell us this story before I end this broadcast. I was just about I think I should be how old now then? And I should be 14 or 13, you know. And when that story was told, 13, 14, they told us that story. You know, I heard it from, you know, friends. You know how some mischievous friends, you just have some friends that I don't know where they get their inspiration from, you know. And told that you rub ogoro. Once you rub ogoro, you start getting hair. Even on your, you know, your down here, you just get hair. So you just go, you know, one with when they give you money to you just hide some money at night. You don't want people to see you buying ogoro. You just go. I know those women will sell ogoro to you at that age. I just went to buy ogoro, put it in the bottle, hide it somewhere in the house. Every morning I wake up, rub it before going to school, rub the ogoro where you want hair to come. Oh my God, this is, you know, crazy, very crazy. It's funny, right? But anyways, it's good. It's one of those experiences. The appropriate department to register the intel. Yes, the appropriate department to register the intel. Yes, my sister, on that matter. You know, it was not actually, you know, you guys don't mind me. It's funny. You know, one of the best players. Oh, thank you so much, Idika. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for the compliments. Thank you. Yes, sir. That video will expose a lot of what is going on there. They have lots of lives. It's a serious matter. The man took a lot of risk. Yes, the man took a lot of risk. Yes, you're correct. We're gonna Josh. He took a lot of risk. We're gonna play it further next time so we can get the details. So don't want the video to be long today, so that we can actually relax and watch it, so that other people can watch. Good evening, Mazin. Akachuku Kike Abima. It's been a while. I saw you here, but good to have you. Anyways, I know you're always here. Maybe you don't send messages, but you're always here. Ludika says, God will strengthen you, Kelechi. Thank you so much. Ise Idika, thank you. I say to your prayer, you are one of the best players. Thank you so much, Idika. I'm delighted to have you. Please, nobody should click on these idiots who send all these wrong links for you to click, or else they will use it to hack your line and destroy your stuff. So please, all this, you know that people like things, you know, like all these nude and all this nude and all this stuff, you know, nude pictures and all of this. So they will always bring sites that will show them, and people will be tempted to click on it, and then they hack your site. So please don't get involved in that. When you see all those stuff, just get away from them. Just delete them, block them, report them first, and block them. That's what you do. That's how I deal with them. So you're one of the best. Thank you so much, Idika. Thank you. Good evening, Kelechi. Thank you, John Almeida. Good to have you. I guess you're just coming. So that's it. So I want to appreciate you all for watching. Please, let's share this video so that people can get it. This is an intro of the spirit of Ejiofor. We're going to be talking more on the spirit of Ejiofor. You know, we're going to talk more on it. It's a very critical thing, and we are not going to allow anything to become a distortion or become a problem to this fight for freedom. We're going to do all to secure our freedom. We're going to do all to make sure that all we do would always be right and do the right thing to actually get the right results. So I want to appreciate you all for being part of this. I love you all. Regards very, very much. I love you all for always being here and for always keeping in touch. Mazia, I'm working. That is the reason. Okay, all the time. Good. All right. Please, once in a while, once you are free, you just go through, watch what you have done, and then also do what you know. So, bro, this is examination of conscience, as Jesus said that we must remove the plank in our eyes before we can see clearly. Thanks for this lesson. Thank you so much, Obioma. Good, you gave a good one here too. To remove the. Even Jesus also said, "Whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them," and that's the golden rule, you know, and all of that. So this is clear-cut definition of what it means to work with other people. Remove the plank in your eyes and make sure you don't allow the spirit of Ejiofor enter into you to make you an instrument. Yes, so Akachuku, thank you. Yes, I know, as you said. So don't allow that to make you and use you as an instrument to fight freedom, to fight the work, or to fight even the people ordained to actually carry out the work. The people that the spirit of Biafra has anointed to do different works, to to fight Mazi Simon Epcot. If you're fighting, you are fighting your own end. You're anointed with God's wisdom, Mazi. Thank you so much, Edith Nidu. Thank you, Edith. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm delighted. Onyi, it's been a while. Where have you been? Good evening, Kelechi, GCK, my brother. Our people cherish power and authority so much as nobody wants to show example of so much more. Nobody, okay, you want to say nobody wants to show example of. You see, leadership is by service, just like what Jesus said. You know, leadership comes by your service. It's automatically, once you're a servant, you are a leader. Forget anybody who fronts themselves that they are not leaders. It's only those who are servants that are leaders. That's why Jesus said, if I don't wash your feet as your servant, you call me master, but this is how I become your master, by washing your feet, by serving you. That is what we're doing. So anybody who is serving around you, serving the work of Biafra, to get this freedom, see that person as very important. Hold them to a high esteem. Don't fight them and think that don't feel threatened by anybody's input. It shows how low you are. It shows how empty you are. It shows how much you have not been able to discover self. It shows, oh my God, I want to go into the preaching proper. I want to go, I don't want to go into that level now, because there's a dimension I want to go. Next time I'm going to be talking about this topic, and where I'm going to link it from self to the other dimension, and of course understanding your companion, companionship in this matter. So I'm going to be taking it to another level from this. This is just an intro of the spirits of Ejiofor. This key factor must be treated. Then next time we're going to have this key factor must be treated dash the spirit of Ejiofor. We're going to treat that. Or the spirit of Ejiofor dash this key factor must be treated. We're going to look at that in depth. We're going to look at in-depth aspect of this teaching, so that we all can be in the right frame of mind and do the things we need to do the way we should do. Thank you so much, all. I love you all. Always happy to put your messages and read along, and of course have you interact. We talk here, we look at things together, because Biafra belongs to us all. We are all part of it, and we are all, strongly part of it. Yes, my brother, stop posting this nonsense. They won't stop. They will always come, but we'll always block them. I just advise that our people don't actually click on it, because it will actually hack their device and hack their platform. So please, everybody stay away from it. Stop posting this nonsense of the status. Who are you? The spirit of Ejiofor is using it to defend. Okay, Josh. Honestly, the spirit of seduction to seduce the people. You are correct. That spirit that seduces you to do the wrong thing. That's calm down. Ejiofor was telling you all of his seduction. It makes you feel comfortable. He'll tell you he's in high spirits. Seduction. Deceit. The spirit of deceit. So that is it. We're going to talk more on this. I don't want to go more into preaching today. You have raised another point. So you're going to link to what I'm going to say next time. And I'm going to bring it up. In case I forget, just bring it up, because I'm going to talk extensively on this, your point, how it links to the spirit of Ejiofor, my brother. You said something very critical here, Desmond. And is it Desmond or is it Ogolo? It's Ogolo. Okay, Josh, you're the one who posted it. It's Josh Ogolo, you're the one who posted that. So we're going to look at that critically. Desmond says, thank you, brother. May Elohim bless you abundantly. Thank you so much, Desmond. I say to your prayers. Here, the master is entrusting his servants with a measure of his wealth to each of them abilities. Matthew 25:15. Deus kept their words. Maziapa multiplied his. That is it, Charles. Thank you for bringing a reference here. Charles, thank you for bringing that reference here. When people feel threatened, they actually, in the midst of being threatened, what you do is that you actually hide your talent. In fact, you become blind to your talents. When you are envying other people, you become blind to what you can do. In fact, what you can do becomes useless to you. Before you know it, you begin to use it contrarily to fight negatively rather than positively. So at that point, it now becomes the access to destruction, or it becomes the link to your destruction. It becomes the avenue to your destruction. Anytime you have something given to you as a gift, when you begin to use it negatively, it becomes an avenue to your destruction. And that's what is happening to them. The old members of the defunct members of the DOS, that's what's happened to them. That's what's happening to Ejiofor. He got an opportunity and he allowed evil to go into him, and then it became a source of destruction. It always ends in destruction. Eze, it's been a while. More blessing, Kelechi. Thank you so much, Eze. Thank you, my brother. Good to have you always here. Thank you so much, Onye. Thank you. Thank you, Onye. Thank you so much. And to you also for watching. I want to thank you all. We're going to go deep into this. And please, I want you to like this video, share it on all your social media platforms. Hit the notification button or the bell, and also like and subscribe to this channel. Send it to everyone you know. Let them listen to this message so that those who actually have lost their mind, they are now fighting other people who are fighting for their freedom. They should get this message to understand that the spirit of Ejiofor is a very dangerous spirit, and it can be destructive. It is destructive, not even it can be. It is. Thank you so much, Mazi. Thank you, Evamat. Thank you so much. I love you all. Let you continue to protect you guys. Desmond Sunday says everybody fighting Simon is equally fighting Mazi Nnamdi because the two are of the same. That is it, of the same spirit. That is it. So we must understand these things in the light of the spiritual, and then so that we can apply rightly and do the right things that we need to do. So thank you all. I appreciate you all for this great day and this great opportunity. Tomorrow is the Back to Base program, 1 p.m. Biafra time. We're going to be looking at the scripture again. I'm going to talk about God, Elohim. We're going to talk about him, and then look more into scripture, what the scripture says about God. Not what one book says, but what the scripture says. Because the scripture overrides every other book, because the scripture has been existing for a long time, and these people are inspired by God, and the words of prophecy in the Bible have come to pass one way or the other, in different ways. No word, the only thing remaining is the issue of rapture. So if that is the rapture and the second coming and all of that, all the details in that is the 70th week. So if all of the 69th week have come to pass, then why do you now say that book is not authentic? That's what we're saying. That's why it is an appropriate book. That's why it's the book that will govern Biafra nation. That's where our culture will be centered. That's where our constitution will be based on, in that book, the Bible. So we're going to be working with that. So tomorrow, Back to Base program, 1 p.m. Biafra time. Let's talk about the scripture. We're going to look at it critically, and then we analyze so many things together. Remember, I'll finish up the write-up that I gave you. I'll be giving you the points about the Trinity. I'll finish it up in that program tomorrow. And then on Monday, we're going to have the mind surgery show, and we're going to still talk more about money. And then we're going to be having two guests. We're going to have Pastor Ike in the house. 1 p.m. every time, we're going to have Pastor Ike. And then we're going to also have Prince Ezemi Anacho, in the house or in the studios with us. Thanks for the great work. Thank you, Tina Martin Sauce. Tina Martin Sauce. Tina Martin Sauce. Tina Martin Sauce. Thank you. My glory, Matthias. What are you actually talking about here, Tina? Lord of the lady, where have you been? Oh my God, you just abandoned me here. You have not been showing up. Good to have you. Thank you, Master. Thank you so much. And Lord of the lady, I've not been seeing you for weeks now. The other time you traveled, are you back now? Thank you so much and remain blessed. Thank you so much, Mrs. Adozayan. Thank you. I said, Ise, thank you. That's some things I've not been saying also, for a while now, especially those ones who wanted me to believe what they believe about God, telling me that Jesus is not God, and they wanted me to believe them. They don't send messages again. They're angry. That's the spirit of Ejiofor. The spirit of Ejiofor. If you don't take what they agree, as long as you don't take what they want, you are an enemy. Rather than accepting to look into the matter critically and let's reason together, they argue with you, and that becomes the end. They just cut you off. May God strengthen you the more with much love. Thank you, Margaret Jobware. Thank you so much. I love you too. Thank you all, and Chukwu bless you all. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to have you all here. I'm going to play the video of Mazi Simon one more time on the issue, of I'm going to remember on the 9th, the 10th, on the 11th, on the 12th, sit at home, total lockdown. Then on the 13th, go back to market, get what you want to get, and on the 14th, return. God bless you, Kelechi. I will never abandon you. All right, so let me believe so. Let me believe so, because I have not been seeing you, so let me believe so. Jane Obialo. Thank you, Jane Obialo. Thank you, Jane. Good to have you. Amechi Jonas. Where have you been, Amechi? Good to have you. Thank you for joining. God bless Mazi Nnamdi. Yes, so God bless him, strengthen him. Please, every day pray for Mazi Nnamdi. Pray for Mazi Nnamdi, because these are the two people that are steering the ship here. Tina Martin says, our prayer point this season. Let the spirit of Ejiofor die. He said, that's a prayer. Thank you, for giving us a prayer point in that light. Because yes, it's a very critical prayer point because it's a spirit, and you deal with it with the concept of the spirit, the details of the spirit. So thank you for reminding us of that. Yeah, you are in the spirit. Because when you talk about spirits, you handle spiritual matters with the spiritual concept and design for them. So we're going to pray about that. As much as we talk about the spiritual things, using the word to counter them, the same way also we get to fight and deal with the spiritual things by prayers too, because the supernatural must handle it in that realm. Just like the spirit of Antichrist goes on, and then the Antichrist comes, and then Jesus comes and defeats him. So we need God also to actually defeat the spirit of Antichrist, as much as we fight it by knowledge. So good you did that, and there were Mazikele just joining now. GCK Chukukike, have you got your back? All hail IPOB Autopilot. Obi Uche, thank you so much for joining and for sending messages. Please go back and listen from the beginning so you can get the details of what we have done today. Thanks for having you. Delighted to have you. Also, Lord Ejiofor is just a walking ghost. That's what he is. He has actually told himself that over his dead body, and that Master Manepa will actually lead. And now Master Manepa is leading. So he's already a walking ghost there, and what is left is for him to be cut off totally. He has to face the consequences, and that's what is happening to him now. It has just begun to come in full scale, and he's going to know that Chukwu is in control, and he has actually fought what he's not supposed to fight. Thank you all. I love you all. And Chukwu bless you all. Real good. He said, tomorrow, back to base program. I want to see you there. Let me see if a particular message has come. God Almighty from Josh. Say, God Almighty bless. Have a nice day as we hope to have you back. Yes, so tomorrow we'll be here 1 p.m. Biafra time. I promise you it's going to be 1 p.m. And we're going to be there together. Thank you all. I love you all. Stay blessed.
I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes. Not behind you, you will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
They can't tell me. No way. When the time comes, It's okay. What stupid country is this? So when is this you try somebody in secret? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, you try in private. They are killing my people. 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 After killing my people, you tell me what to tell in secret? The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret trial. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes. We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
Do you know the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.